Hi, this is Tim from Xeraphic. I've been working in and with large organizations across EMEA in various industries for over 8 years now. Looking at all these companies, one thing became apparent. Simple questions can be so complicated in business life. How are we performing against plan? How much do we spend for each customer? Who is working on what? Can we cope with a new project? How much money do we need? Questions where the answer should be rather straightforward. However, if we ask these kind of questions internally, the whole organization seems to be incompetent. Maybe this is even a proof for the Peter principle. Okay, to be fair and taking a less cynical approach, it's probably also the complexity of the company, which takes people time to answer questions. Still, the question is, why can't we simply add things up in business? For example, we know how much the IT costs and what activities are requested from which part of the business. Can it be so difficult to do a simple pricing for my internal customers without 10 years of consultancy and maturity development? Some people might tell you, yeah, we can do the math, but we don't have the data. Let's look at this a bit more closely. Let's look at Jane as an example. Jane is telling IT what equipment she is using. At the same time, Jane is telling HR how much time she spends on what. Also, she needs to tell finance how much money she needs for a project, which will then of course be aligned to a cost center. However, yet the organization cannot connect that information. How can that be? Essentially, each department has its own language, because they're looking at a certain situation from their very specific viewpoint. This is also what causes sometimes long alignment meetings, for instance between project management and finance, because the perspectives in which data is presented is entirely different. This is not only down to the language differences between departments, but also based on conflicting data models to supporting tools. This means, for example, the project doesn't speak finance, as the required information is scattered across tools with conflicting data models, manual data gathering and translation is required. Let's stay with our example from projects for a minute. A common workaround for this would be to use Microsoft Excel to translate project data into finance information. I'm pretty sure that most of you have done a budget forecast in Excel at some stage. However, when the translator is not fluent in finance, this often leads to endless alignment meetings. Not only does the manual reporting take a lot of time and effort, but using Excel as part of corporate processes is extremely risky. Errors are easily made, while it's close to impossible to keep track of information sources. One article in Forbes even went so far to call Excel the possibly most dangerous software on the planet. Yet, today's organizations rely heavily on information that stems from exactly those Excel processes. And hence, this fragmented and sometimes poorly translated information becomes the foundation for decision making. And when it comes to decision making, it's still unclear who is working on what, and it still takes ages to have budget discussions. And that's essentially because everybody is taking a different route. Wouldn't it be great if all departments were aligned and could speak the same language? This is exactly where Xeraphic comes into play. The foundation of Xeraphic is an adaptive data model. This means it can automatically harmonize data from virtually any source and establish a central source of truth. This is supported by a business logic that helps customers to put information into the required context. Last but not least, Xeraphic provides apps leveraging the consolidated view to improve business processes. The business applications are fully configurable, and at this moment Xeraphic comes with 4 applications out of the box: integrated resource management, integrated service costing, integrated supplier management, as well as integrated financial planning and budgeting. At the same time, customers have the possibility to develop their own applications depending on their specific business needs. As we are talking about state-of-the-art technology here, the implementation is a matter of weeks rather than months. All that needs to be done is to load and map the existing data, configure the business logic as well as the front end to your specific needs, and you're good to go. By the way, don't worry, in most cases sensitive systems don't need to be touched directly, as flat files can be fully sufficient. Therefore, let's stop dangerous workarounds in the business world. Let's do it properly. In case you have any questions or opinions, feel free to call me, comment, or visit Xeraphic.com. Thank you.